are now elevating hooked on science with Bruce and Tom.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Hooked on Sonics. I'm Bruce, that's Tony, and boy, do we have another great show for you guys today. Today, we're going to be reviewing Alice Cooper's latest album, Road, and the one of the quintessential rock operas of the late 80s, early 90s, Queensryche's Operation Mindcrime. But before we get into that, we got some introductions and some drinking and some newsing. And Tony, how are you?
I'm doing great, bud. How are you?
Great, man. Great. Really been soaking this stuff in all week and pretty excited about today.
Good deal. Good deal.
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to it. I actually did some things a little different this week. Me and my buddy Omar were kind of testing some things out on the computer, and told him, I said, man, I really gotta find the time to squeeze in this album to listen to. So Omar actually listened to the album with me. His rating was a little different than mine, but you know, we'll go from there.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
talk
We'll
about
see.
I'll talk about that more later. We've been listening to this week, man.
Well, let me tell you. So, as you know, anyone who's following us on Facebook and stuff, had the opportunity to go see internet phenom Oliver Anthony. Let me tell you about this show. First off, I try to be smart. Um, this was the biggest crowd that Smoky Stadium ever had. It was originally reported that the show was like 6,000 people, a little over. It was over 10,000 people. There were people on the roof trying to
Get in.
scaling the roof of Smoky Stadium
Wow.
to see this dude.
Dude, I told you, man, it's a phenomenon.
Yeah,
It's
it's a
a damn
phenomenon.
phenomenon, dude. It's insane. This
Yeah,
this guy. He is just the man of the people, dude.
yep. Oh, and all the people showed up. Um, so let me tell you what I was going to do. So I was trying to save me a little money on parking. So there's a Bucky's that's right down the road from it, and my buddy Nick was like, "Hey, bud, just go over to park over there at Bucky's, and we'll just carpool over there. No big deal." Okay, fine. Save me $10. So I go over to Bucky's, and they are having a fucking tailgate in the Bucky's parking lot for Oliver Anthony.
Oh my goodness.
A huge tailgate for Oliver Anthony, and all these little like souped up rice burners were making fools out of them damn selves in the Bucky's parking lot, and of course here comes the Sevierville Police Department. I was like, well, shit, there goes that idea. And so I had to make my way from the corner of Bucky, where the road where you turn into Bucky's, onto the main drag to the stadium. To get, I don't know, half a mile took me over 45 minutes. That's to get to the overpass of the freeway, 45 minutes, not to the stadium.
Wow.
So then you finally get up to the road where the stadium is. There's one cop, and he's not directing shit. He's just kind of standing there. So you're just got to follow the masses. Like, okay, I don't know where we're going.
Dude, he's probably just as confused too. They probably ain't seen no shit like that in a long time.
Dude, it was ridiculous.
If
So
ever. Like, you got to think about this though, dude. Like, other cities, please be aware, if you are listening to this and this dude is coming to your city, be prepared. You are going to be in some shit as far as traffic goes in that area. This is not a joke. This is not a drill. This is not a game.
yeah, yeah. So um, he just kind of waves people on. Just go. We're driving down this fucking country road. I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea if there's another like off lot, something like that. I don't know. And fucking then everyone just starts turning around. I mean, there is nobody else out there. Nobody. We probably went a mile and a half down the road. Finally, I'm like, yeah, I don't think this is right. So everyone just starts turning around to go back that road. Well, I guess you just go into that parking lot. Why they didn't have you just go straight in, I don't know, but they just assumed, oh, just to turn around somewhere.
So
And
there was no signage or nothing.
nothing.
Yeah, that's
Like
not
you're
good.
just going pure instinct and just follow, like lemmings, just follow them off the cliff. I don't know where we're going. Meanwhile, by this time, the show's supposed to start at 7:30. This is 7:05, and I'm still stuck in fucking traffic. And I'm getting irritated because I got up there at 4.
Wow.
Yeah. So finally get up into there, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna get fucking stuck in some BFE lot somewhere. Nope, pulled you right into the front. I was like, what? Like, I don't know how their parking situation was so goofy. I was like, okay, whatever. And you get in there, and it's just a sea of people. And I forget the opening guy's name. I talked to him after the show. He's only been playing about 3 years, and this kid could fucking
Nice.
wail. And there were some people looked like it was their first time at a concert because they didn't have proper concert etiquette. Give each other a little space. Excuse some transgressions here and there. We're all there for a good time. Nah, there were some people trying to look for a fight, including women. And I was like, good God, it was irritating as shit. Oliver
People
Anthony
need to
came
grow
on.
the fuck up, dude.
Dude, yeah, grow up. Like, stop it.
Grow the fuck up.
And he first thing he did was read a Bible verse, and that place you could almost hear a pin drop. And then when he, later in the show when he tore into Richmond, north of Richmond, that place erupted. He sang it twice. He had to sing it twice because the
Wow.
the people wanted it so bad.
Well, dude, you know what? Let me tell you something.
Hmm.
I have never been in a situation, and I've been to a lot of concerts like you, where I saw a band perform the same song twice.
Mm-hmm.
Until two different situations. Went to see the Misfits at the Alrosa Villa. I can't remember who opened up for them. It wasn't Doyle on guitar. Dez was on guitar, and it was a good show. Nonetheless, midway through the show, Robo busts a drum hit in the middle of Descending Angel. So Jerry goes, and Jerry and Dez do it kind of a cappella without drums on it. And as Robo's getting his drum head fixed, they just go, fuck it, we'll do it again. And they did it. And that was a cool experience.
Yeah.
The only other time I seen that happen was, if you're familiar with that band, The Who, H-U, the Mongolian metal band.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude, they
Yeah.
wail, dude. Dude, you need to check that. No, dude.
Okay, hold on.
Are
How
you
much
serious?
Mongolian metal is out there in the world?
These dudes are the shit, man. You need to know that.
Okay.
This is real. Like, you need to understand. Oh my God, dude. They play metal with traditional Mongolian instruments.
Okay. All right.
Oh man, you may have just changed my whole fucking album I'm going to drop on you.
Oh.
You may have just changed my. No, dude, listen. They're huge. They're radio. They're a
Yeah.
radio band. Like all over the Blitz and shit. Local bands of this time and era want to work with these guys.
Radio Mongolia?
Dude, I'm telling you.
Okay.
I'm telling you. Wolf
I'll take
Totem.
your word.
And they sing with with a Mongolian chanting. So a lot of the shit sounds like something like along those lines. And it's
Yeah.
dude, it's really chanty, it's really cool, it's really tribal. Dude, you got to check out that band.
Okay.
I got to see them live. It was one of the most amazing experiences I ever saw
Sweet.
at the Newport.
Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I got
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah. That Mongolians work you up.
They do,
Anyway,
man.
so after the show, he says, "Look, I'm going to regret this probably, but I'm still going to be doing a meet and greet. I'm going to be over here at this restaurant, that was in the park, and I'll stay till the end." And there had to have been over 1,000 people easily waiting in line to meet this guy. And yeah, him and his partner there, Joey Davis, great guitar player on his own as well. Um, the they stayed there for the whole thing. I left out there about 12:30 in the morning, and that's, I mean, I turn into a pumpkin after 9
Yeah.
typically. So, me staying up till 12:30, that was a miracle. Cool as could be, nice as could be, great experience. So shout out to
100 and tell me this. Tell
mm,
me this. Am
yeah.
I right or am I wrong when I say this guy is 110% of the people, for the
Yes.
people, by the people?
Yep. Yep. And what I keep telling people is, man, I hope he can keep it up. I hope he can stay grounded, because that's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of shit being thrown at you, man. It's the machine. And hopefully he can
And the
hopefully he
machine
can
will
keep
swallow
together.
you whole,
Yeah. Yeah. And they don't give a shit.
and they don't give a shit.
Yeah. So yeah,
I li- I
that
like I like that he's keeping himself away from the corporations the best he can.
mhm.
But you and I both know the guy sounds like he wants to do good. And if you're looking at $100 million worth of good, even if your intentions are to take that $100 million and do a bunch of good with it, that can still be very tempting,
Mhm.
you know.
Yep.
So this guy's a man of the people. He's writing, and we talked about this.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the whole Jelly Roll thing.
Yep.
These people are writing songs that speak to
Yep.
the people, and I can't think of a more. Do we call it selling out? Should we call that a sellout?
I
I
don't,
mean,
man.
I can't call it a sellout because
This is
at the core of what they're doing, they're writing from the heart
yeah.
and they're hitting people on the heartstrings.
Yeah. Now, to me, a sellout would be, okay, you take corporate money and you change your sound, you change your image, you change everything that everyone loved about you.
I feel that Metallica did that when they hit the Load albums.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a big breaking point for me in Metallica.
It certainly, they lean towards that commercialism.
Yes. And I think they tried to intertwine some alternative style music in there. And it's like, that's not what I want when I'm listening to Metallica.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
anyways,
All right. So I went on a little long on that. So sorry about that. What have you been listening to?
I was listening to some Ruby the Hatchet at some point in time this week.
Okay.
I am listening to The Well, and I've got all their albums now. I'm looking forward to possibly going to see them October 19th down in Newport, Kentucky. But I don't know why I was surprised to find the band that they're actually opening up for, because last time I seen them, they were headlining and Fire Breather was opening up for them. But the band they're opening up for, 1,000 Mods, I've got to check out one of their sequential albums, and I got to tell you, I dig it. I'm like, okay, this may have just said, dude, you're gonna have to drive down to Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to go. I know I just need to make sure I got somebody that can roll with, and it's like October 19th. That's gonna be a drive. But yeah, 1,000 Mods, man. Woo, 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 them boys rock. But other than that, that's pretty much about it. I've just been pretty damn busy. So
Cool. Cool. Well, while you're talking over there, what are you drinking? What are we having today? What's libation are we reviewing for your end?
so I'm drinking something I don't think I've ever drank on the show before. It is an old school drink for me. And a lot of people may understand or not understand that. But I used to make this with regular old Jack Daniels growing up. And I actually did it tonight with a handcrafted low end bourbon. It comes in at a lower price. I don't think it's a low end bourbon. I think it's excellent for the price. But it's called Very Old Barton 100 Proof. It's a handcrafted bourbon down there in Kentucky, and we don't get it up here. So whenever I'm out of state and I can grab it, I grab it. It's just an amazing bottle. I've got a handle of it. I mix that with a little bit of ice and Mountain Dew, since I'm going to be up tonight doing the editing and shit.
There you go.
I was sitting there thinking, what am I going to drink tonight on the show? I was going through the whole beer selection, bourbon selection, tequila and rum selection, just going, fuck it.
Give me some old Bartons.
Dude, it's an amazing bourbon.
Yeah.
It's an amazing, amazing bourbon.
All right. Well, what do you give it?
For an overall bourbon,
Yep.
not just because of the price and all that other good shit. An overall bourbon, I'm giving it a 4.50
Nice.
out of 5.
Nice.
It's a solid pour, man.
Very cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I found me something really nice. Went back to Founders, and they have a French toast bastard,
Nice.
and this is a delicious uh, dessert beer, 11.1% alcohol.
11.1.
Yep.
That's real business right there.
Yes, sir. It's vanilla, cinnamon, maple, bourbon, barrel aged Scotch ale.
Ooh.
And I'm telling you, after a good hearty meal, you drink you one or two of these for dessert.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
dessert beers are really nice. One of my favorite beers is and I don't even know if they make it anymore. Stone Brewing Company did a chocolate porter that was absolutely amazing. It had like coffee bean flavor in it and stuff. It was amazing, dude.
yeah. But this thing tastes pretty close to a damn piece of French toast.
Now,
It's so good.
as far as French toast and breakfast goes, is it better than per se, a buddy's egg, ham, and cheese on toast?
Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to say yes. This is a damn good beer. And that ham egg and cheese sandwich wasn't no slouch either. So again, Founders knocked it out of the park with this. It's a little hard to find, but I encourage you to look for it. The French Toast Bastard, and I give this a solid 5.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I was not able to grab any news today. I understand that you are the newsman today, and you do remember the exit.
Of course.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys. So we are recording on October the 3rd. I didn't see a whole lot of interesting album releases, but there are some pretty cool birthdays today. So, India RE, she was born today in 1975. Stevie Ray Vaughan was born in 1954. Gwen Stefani, No Doubt fame, 1969. Happy birthday to old Tommy Lee in 1962.
Wow.
Yeah. Lindsey Buckingham, also born today in 1949. So some pretty cool heavy hitters born on October 3rd.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's see. Really cool list came out. So Record Store Day. For anyone who's not aware, Record Store Day basically has 2 events throughout the year. The main event is like in March or something like that. And that's where artists release some really cool, unique either re-releases or never before seen or just exclusive releases for that day. And then they have another one, Record Store Day Black Friday event, which this year is going to fall on November 24th of this year. They just released the list of the releases that's going to be coming out at your record store. If you're interested in it, go to recordstoreday.com, check out the list, and get with your local record store. Get with your local record store and ask them to order it. There is no guarantees that the records will get in, that they will actually get the records because of supply and demand. But get with them, get on the list, check out this list. Some of the things I thought was cool. Eric Carr Rockology, the former drummer from Kiss, they're re-releasing Rockology on a picture disc. Let's see, Willie Nelson's 50th anniversary of Shotgun Willie. That's one of his quintessential releases. That's going to be a two LP release, full of different stuff. Let's see, Wendy O. Williams of the Plasmatics, who we reviewed her last season. She's releasing an album as well. Tony, I know you looked over that list briefly. Where were some other ones that was kind of interesting to you?
Buck Cherry fans will find one on there. Oh man, there was a Prince album on there. There was God, there was a lot. That Cypress Hill,
Yeah.
Black Sunday.
Yep. Cypress Hill Black Sunday remixes.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's going to be phenomenal, man. There's a lot of good stuff. If you get the chance, like Bruce said, get over there and check out that list. We just checked it out just before the show and was just like stunned by all the really cool stuff that's on there. A Beach Boys Christmas album
Yeah.
is going to be released. That's a dude. That's at the end of November, right at Thanksgiving, going into the holidays. Bam, Beach Boys Christmas album. That's pretty dope, dude. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. So again, everyone, if you're interested, go to recordstoreday.com, check out that list, and get with your local record store. Support your local guys because they need it.
Yep.
And that is the news.
Good close. We'll talk about it later. Who went first last week, man?
I think you went first last time.
All right. Well, then that means you get to go first this time.
How about them apples? Okay, everybody, hold on. Let me get a drink of this fine Founder's French toast bastard.
Fuck.
Okay, so I ended up having Queensryche's Operation Mindcrime. It's a rock opera. That's the best way I can describe it. The music was partially written and composed by Michael Kamen. This album was released in May 3rd, 1988. It went platinum and it topped the charts at number 50. I didn't realize that this album came out in 88. I thought this was an early 90s thing. And this had two singles. I only remember the one single, which was Eyes of a Stranger. The other single was I Don't Believe in Love.
I Don't Believe in Love would have been the other one. Yep.
Yeah.
There were videos.
In my opinion, there should have been a couple more singles on there. I think was better than I Don't Believe in Love.
Okay.
So,
but let me say this.
Yeah.
Think about what you said there.
Mm-hmm.
Two singles. Not really familiar with the band. If this was your introduction into the band, what was going on with what bands that had that some kind of sound like that? You come out with your anthem style rock,
mm-hmm.
and then the ballad.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So victim to a little bit of that formula.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And well, let me say this to kind of to that point. Queensryche, this album wasn't really like anything else that was out at that time. Rock rock wise.
Yeah.
I think Def Leppard's Hysteria, that was kind of the closest comparison sound wise to this album, but not really. They definitely
Dude.
have their own sound on this.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
For sure. Um,
That's kind of what turned me on to it. I had never heard anything quite like it, except maybe you compared something like, I mean, as far as a rock opera goes, like Tommy from The Who back in the day. You're
yeah.
like, okay, there's a story behind this album. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I dug it.
Yep. So the story behind the story of this album is protagonist Nicky is in a hospital. He's lying in a catatonic state, unable to remember anything but snippets of his past. Suddenly, all the stuff comes rushing back to him, and basically the meat of the album is him retelling or him reliving um, the the events that happened to him um, right before he went into this catatonic state. So he got in with he was a heroin addict and was disenfranchised by the political malfeasance and everything else going on in the world, and he got in with this cult, and this guy was just as bad as the political leaders that he was fighting against. Started becoming a hitman, and he fell in love with a prostitute turned nun, and they fell in love, and tragedy happens, and yeah, this is a true rock opera.
Yeah.
Um,
But do we refer to it as a rock opera, or do we refer to it as a concept album?
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's definitely a concept album, but
Because when I think of rock opera, I think of Queen.
Okay. I don't think a Queen is a rock opera.
A Night at the Opera.
Okay.
Come on now.
I get it, but that's not. I don't know. It's not as produced. I love Night at the Opera.
Tommy would eventually become a rock opera.
Yep. Yep.
But it wasn't originally a rock opera.
Yeah.
It was a concept album.
Yeah. I get it. That's fine.
I don't know, man.
I'll accept
maybe people see it different ways. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was telling Rhea about it, and she was like, "Oh, rock opera. I love." And she thought it had cellos, and I'm like, no, it's not really like that.
Dude, that's what disturbs me about you.
Hmm.
And I love you to death. You rag on Wasp. They had one of the greatest rock and roll rock operas ever, and it even paid homage to Tommy.
Who?
Wasp.
Who? Okay, so let me get into this album a little bit. So starts off with I Remember Now and Anarchy X. Just some kind of instrumental stuff on there, just to kind of get you teased, to set the mood. First song with actual lyrics was Revolution Calling. This should have been a single. Revolution Calling should have definitely been a single. I love the line in there. Who do you trust when everyone's a crook? Love it. And it again, just look around. Just look around the world today. This is what we got going on.
Yep.
See, some of the other standout tracks, Spreading the Disease was really good. The Needle Lies. That was probably my favorite. That was probably my favorite track on this album. And again, should have been a single.
Dude, are these titles not almost foretelling?
Yeah.
Are these titles not almost foretelling, dude? Get the fucking hell out of here.
Dude, and let me ask you this, because again, in 1988, I wasn't listening to anything like this. How in the hell did you get into this damn album? Like, why? I would have had no idea to get it. This is a heavy album. This is a really thoughtful album.
You want to know?
No.
I have a bad habit when
Yeah.
I get tunnel vision on a band,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure you go through this at times too. I have a habit when I hear a band, I acquire the album.
Yeah.
If I love it, I acquire the album. I got to hear the whole fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
If I like the album and the album gets a solid rating from me, per my internal rating, I'll go, okay, I'll look for more. We didn't have the internet back then. Empire dropped, and I just remember it being huge.
Yeah. That was
And
my introduction.
yeah, so what happened was we had a buddy back in the day. I'm not going to say anything other than he would help acquire things. And we would get together on the weekends and I made acquisitions. Um, you
I'm
know,
sure statute of limitations is up by now.
no, I don't know, dude. I like, we would always hook up on the weekends and share fucking cassettes and shit.
Yeah.
Right. And I got turned on to a lot of shit, dude. Thanks to Theodore Whittington, who's been on the show, Skeet. And I mean, I wouldn't even know about Candlemass if it wasn't for Skeeter. You know, he's the one who turned me on to Candlemass and shit like
Yeah.
that. But you know, Skeet kind of helped open my eyes to God, there's all this music that's out there, but it's not on the radio. It's not available for my ears. We got to go to the record stores. We got to pick this stuff up. We got to do this stuff.
Yeah.
So I had acquired Empire. Shortly thereafter, I went straight and got Operation Mindcrime. And I think I picked up, and this is funny, you're going to love this. I think I picked up Operation Mindcrime and David Lee Roth, A Little Ain't Enough in the
Oh, I
same
love that album.
in the same suite.
Sweet.
Yeah. I think I picked them both up at the same time, dude, because I would eventually start making my way into CDs,
Mm-hmm.
and those were still cassettes
Yeah.
in my cassette collection. Yeah, yeah. But
That's cool.
I the other thing is I caught wind of um Queensryche probably a little bit before everybody else because I had an old VHS cassette that had rock music videos on it. You know, you'd buy them and they'd
Yeah.
have fucking several different. You get this metal hits, blah 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 VHS. You know what I'm saying? So I picked it up, man, and it had the reason why I picked it up was because it had Wasp's Love Machine on it. One of the crazy, one of the just a cheesy, great '80s video, man. And Queen of the Reich, one of the first Queensryche songs off like the first album I think was on there.
Okay.
And I was like, these dudes are pretty badass. Like, see some more of what they got going on. But I wouldn't hear anything until we probably heard Empire. I may have heard Eyes of a Stranger before Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yep. Jeff Tate's vocals on this just stellar. There's also a lady who does the performs as Sister Mary. Um, she does also a phenomenal job, and it's hard to differentiate from them two at times
mhm.
because his range is so high and it's so good.
Yeah.
Um, so again, shout out to the Jeff Tate on his vocal abilities. Um, I very underrated singer. I don't know what he sounds like now, but this was some top notch vocal duties on here. Um, let's see. I think there are some throwaways. There's some throwaway songs on here. If you're listening to it as just individual songs, but every song on here is important to tell the story.
Right.
And this is one of the things I hate about music these days, where a lot of people are just releasing singles and no one's buying full records or full albums, whatever you want to call it, full downloads.
There's no money in it. You know why? Do you really want to know why?
What's that?
Because the attention span of this age has gone to this.
Yeah,
They
that's
don't have
definitely part of it.
they don't have the time to sit down and really take in an album. The attention span is this.
Yeah, and they're really selling themselves short. Um, we need more pieces like this where it's telling a story. We need that. Um, this is a great story, and for the longest time, I didn't understand why they made Operation Mindcrime 2 and why they kept going back to that well. I'm like, well, shit, there's more to the story. There's more to tell.
I didn't care for
Because
Mindcrime 2.
I didn't hear it. But
Skip it.
yeah,
Skip it. Pointless.
damn.
Why they did it? I get it.
Yeah,
I
because
get it.
yeah.
Because it was at that point, I'm going to be honest with you,
Mhm.
money grab.
Yeah.
Had to be a money grab.
Well, if it's uninspired writing, sure, probably. But there is still more story to tell. If they would have told it right, this story
Who's
could have
who's
gone on.
who's to say they didn't tell it right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
You know who else does concept albums like that?
Mm.
That and I'm not a fan. Okay. And it's funny because I love concept albums, right?
Yeah.
But I'm not a fan of his concept album stuff or his solo stuff. But however, I'm more of a fan of his band that he was a part of, and that is King Diamond. I don't care for King Diamond stuff. I really like the Merciful Fate stuff.
Okay.
Strange.
Yeah.
It's very, very strange because I don't really feel that way about anybody else.
Yeah. That's like being a Peter Criss solo artist fan, but not a Kiss fan. It's weird to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. So I'm having said this, I really love this album. I really encourage anyone to really just pick this up, get on Spotify, listen to this thing, listen to the story. The story is so good in this. The vocals are pretty easy to understand. You can follow along, like everything makes sense. Everything makes sense. Um, I'm gonna, the sound itself is a little dated, but again, it's from 1988, so that's just the sign of the times. Um, I'm gonna give this album. I'm gonna give it a solid 9. I'm gonna give it a solid 9. I'm probably not going to listen to Operation Mindcrime 2. I don't really care about the live stuff that they put on the deluxe editions, but I like this story and I like this a lot. I like this album a lot, and I'll probably listen to this album again.
That album is a perfect 10 for me. Production, guitar, drum, vocals, bass, across the board, that album is a perfect 10 for me. There's nothing wrong with that album for me.
Sweet. There you go.
And that's why I gave you the album. I gave you
Yeah.
one of my all-time favorites, dude. And if I was stranded on a desert, the term being stranded on a desert album
Yeah.
with so many albums, this would definitely be in the list. So, yeah, good. I'm glad you liked it, man.
Yeah.
Really
Really
good.
liked it.
What's your favorite top 3 tracks on the album?
Top 3 tracks are, I'm going to say Revolution Calling, The Needle Lies, and Speak was pretty good too.
Speak the word.
Yeah.
The word is all of us. Yeah. Great production on that album. Absolutely phenomenal production on that album.
And again, shout out to Michael Kamen who put that together.
Amazing
That
album.
that man's a very talented conductor and composer. Just great stuff.
Good deal. Good deal.
Yeah, man.
Well, I guess I'm up.
You are.
All right. And I had the latest offering from Alice Cooper, his new album called Road. I think he's actually out on tour with this or wrapping up being on tour with this album at the moment.
Yeah, he is currently touring with Rob Zombie on this.
I was supposed to see him with Motley Crue and Def Leppard, and we just didn't get into the show in time, which is okay, no big deal. And I've seen Alice several times. If you ever get the chance, please do. Please go see him. He's a legend, and he still puts on a great show. He's up there in his age like Ozzy. One of the things I'd first like to mention is if you go back to my Ozzy Osbourne review for like the latest Ozzy offering on last season, um, one of the things I stated on that album felt very forced. It felt like just a money grab. They're trying to milk Ozzy for all they can. It just really didn't feel like he was really into the album. It didn't feel like a traditional sense Ozzy is into this album. It just really, I don't know, man. It wasn't one of my favorite Ozzy Osbourne albums, and I don't, I think Ozzy should retire and enjoy the rest of his life. However, I do not feel that with this Alice Cooper album, man. This Alice Cooper album just shows me that Alice is still doing his thing.
Yeah.
And when I say Alice is still doing his thing, I'm just going to put it to you like this: that's good and it's bad. I am a longtime Alice Cooper fan. I was probably listening to Alice Cooper a little bit longer than most people that were my age around me, because my dad turned me on to Alice Cooper kind of early. And I just remember being enamored by his talk of death and creepy things and shit like that. And that's always stuck with me. I love Halloween time. I love shit like that, man. But that's what really attracted me to Alice Cooper. Billion Dollar Babies, No More Mr. Nice Guy. Ballad of Dwight Fry is one of my all-time favorite songs. Hands down, one of my all-time favorite songs. So I am an Alice Cooper fan. With that being said, I was talking with Bruce about this earlier today. My favorite era of Alice Cooper was through the mid 80s, maybe early 80s, somewhere in the 80s. You had the albums Constrictor, Raise Your Fist and Yell, and Trash. Trash was probably his highest charting album, if I can remember correctly. I would have to guess that it is. Okay. Now, the two albums before were great albums as well. And for me, it seemed like that was a resurgence of Alice Cooper's career. There was a bunch of bands that were around in the 70s. And then all of a sudden, they were very prominent. Their music's, even though they had been having releases, those releases weren't really breaking new ground or doing good things, right? Then we hit this wave of heavy metal, power metal, hair metal, whatever you want to call it. And this wave of guys from the 70s really came forward and had huge albums, career redefining albums. And Bruce, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. So take somebody like Aerosmith, huge hits in the 70s, Permanent Vacation releases, whole new ball game for these dudes. That puts them right back on the map. Who else would have been a big one like that? Help me out, Bruce.
Well, I mean, Kiss.
Oh,
Kiss
Kiss
was dead in the water.
Huge hits in the 70s. Was barely releasing anything, getting in through the 80s. You had the issue with the makeup coming off and everything. They took off the makeup, redefined their shit, got it cleaned up, fluffed up the hair, wrote songs, rooted in Kiss womenizing and shit, and bada bang, bada boom. You got Lick It Up, you got I Love It Loud, you got a bunch of shit that came out through the 80s. These guys were able to reinvent themselves for that time. And this album only touches that for a second. I don't feel that Alice is breaking new ground here. And I'm not expecting Alice to break new ground here. But what I can tell you is this is his tribute to being on the road. We know that. That's what the title is. And with that being said, there's some really fun stuff here. There is some really good stuff here. But then there's some stuff that's just like, man, the riff is good. Everything about the song is good. But you get to the chorus and it's like, damn, is that the best they could come up with on the chorus?
Like what?
For me, Big Boots.
Dude, I love that song. It's so cheesy.
Dude, this is why you and I differ so bad. Okay.
Yeah.
This is not That is probably my least favorite song on the whole fucking
I
album.
figured it would be.
And then it is followed like my notes on that were big boots, great verses, horrible chorus, music is fine. Same with Rules of the Road. Everything was great, but the fucking chorus was weak. Um, Standout tracks for me, and I'm going to say this first and foremost. Best track on the album is Dead Don't Dance, according to me. Okay. But I look up who's on Dead Don't Dance, and it's Kane Roberts, the guitar player from Constrictor, Raise Your Fist and Yell, and fucking Trash.
Yeah.
So no wonder I love that track. I mean, it's just a phenomenal fucking track. You know what I mean? And I don't think you could disagree with me. That's not a great track.
It's okay. That wasn't one of my favorite. That one was not one of my favorite. And this is why his vocal phrasing on that was irritating to me.
Fuck off.
That,
Anyways, it was
Kane's guitar work
uh,
phenomenal.
phenomenal, dude.
But
Come on, man.
But Alice's phrasing,
Now, I do want to say something about this. Go Away. And I got this. I got this on a couple different songs, and
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you felt this too. Had kind of like that 50s, 60s vibe,
Yes.
almost like Alice was trying to croon. And I thought it was really cool. You know, I didn't have a major issue with that. It just had a 50s, 60s vibe. White Line Frankenstein with Tom Morello on it.
Mhm.
Good song, absolutely good song. I expected it to be good. Big Boots, uh, Rules of the Road, The Big Goodbye. I thought that was pretty cool. It was actually a standout track for me. Baby, Please Don't Go. I really love the tongue in cheek in this song. And I love that Alice still shows you that I can give you a ballad with that tongue in cheek, like the Ballad of Dwight Fry or Cold Ethel. You know what I mean? You remember Cold Ethel? You know what I'm saying?
I'm
So
talking in my nightmare. Yeah.
I can give you the ballad, but you're going to get that twist. You're going to get that little sickness from me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So and it applied to the album as far as being on the road and leaving and whatnot. And I'll tell you, I really, really, really dig that. 100 More Miles was pretty good. It's a standout track for me too. And I think when you sit down and you take this whole album in, when you get to 100 More Miles, you can kind of appreciate it because you've been on a journey with Alex. You know, there are like 13 or 14 tracks on this album. Okay. For me personally, I would toss like 6 or 7. They just didn't do it for me, dude. Like I probably didn't even speak on half of them. This just didn't do it. So when I think about this album as a whole, when half the album is filler, I can't call it killer. And that's just my personal opinion on the album.
Yeah.
If you are an Alice Cooper fan, don't expect nothing new here. But please take in mind, he does have a guest appearance, some guest appearances on here that are really good. And the track with Kane Roberts is going to take you back. It's just going to take you back to, it's like an updated version of what was going on between Constrictor and Trash. It's just, I don't know. If I had to sit down, and I don't often think about favorite guitar players with certain bands, especially Alice Cooper. But when I think about it, I would have to say Kane Roberts was my favorite fucking guitar player. He was just the best.
Yeah.
When I think about Ozzy, obviously Randy Rhoads comes to mind. Zach's always going to be great, but I would have what would have been if Randy was around a little bit longer? You know what I mean?
Ozzy would have been divorced.
No. Rumor has it, dude, Randy was going to leave Ozzy. If I read
before or after he slept with Sharon?
Listen, I don't know before or after he slept with Sharon. I don't know any of that, but it was my understanding that at some point Randy was of the mindset that I have all this technical knowledge, I have all this skill. I want to do my own thing at some point. You know what I mean? No disrespect to Ozzy, but it had run its course for him, from what I understood. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Who knows who publishes what out there? Who knows what's real and what's not anymore in this world when you read it. So, with that being said, I can't go full swing on this album. I just can't. This is not an album I'm going to come back to. I really and I wanted to. I wanted to so bad. I wanted to love this album more than any Alice Cooper release I've heard recently. Because I do stay tuned. And I wanted to love this album. And I'm glad I got pushed into a situation to do so. Because it could very easily could have been skipped. I wrote down my score and I'm not going to change it. If you're an Alice Cooper fan and you know the same formula continues to work for you, great. For me, like I said, there's nothing groundbreaking. There wasn't enough standout tracks on the album for me. It gets a 7.75.
Okay. All right. So, Alice Cooper's Road is his overall 29th studio album. It was released on August 25th, 2023. It was recorded live in studio with his touring band, including Nita Strauss, Ryan Roxy, and Tommy Hendrickson, and Chuck Berry and Glenn Sobel. There were 3 singles off this, and that was Alice, White Line Frankenstein with Tom Morello, and Welcome to the Show. Kind of to your point, 80s Alice is more your Alice. That's more your speed. 70s.
I like 70s Alice. Don't get that
Yes.
twisted.
No. But what I'm saying, your wheelhouse is more of the 80s harder metal Alice.
Right.
Mine isn't. Mine is more of the 70s. And a lot of this album reminded me of that Welcome to My Nightmare era.
Yeah.
A lot of it did. And I enjoyed the shit out of it. Yeah, some of the hokey stuff like Big Boots, it's fun. It's a fun album, man. I love Rules of the Road. Rule number 1, don't forget the money. Number 2, don't forget to remember to get the money. Come on,
dude.
It's so fun. Alice has never been above from poking fun at himself. This is a great tribute to just his band, the Road Rats, the guys that fucking put it all together. The ballad on there.
That Road Rats was not good for me either.
It wasn't a great song, but it wasn't bad enough where I'd skip it.
Looking at the title, I wanted it to be so brutal, dude.
Yeah.
I wanted to be so kick ass. Like this is right before the closer. We're about to fucking put it to you.
Yeah. Again, this is classic Alice. Bob Ezrin, his producer. So Bob Ezrin, speaking of those 80s albums, Bob stepped away from that for a while.
Yeah.
And let's see, Trash. Desmond Child was the fucking producer on Trash. And I think he produced another one of those albums too. So, when you got your classic producer and you're going for that classic Alice Cooper vibe, yeah, this is right up your alley if you like classic shit like that. I keep finding myself coming back to this album over and over and over. I give this thing a 10. Even with the hokiness, I love it. It's part of it. Just that over-the-top silly shit. Now, I will say this. Magic Bus was not needed. The Who cover.
But hey, dude, let me put it like this. He had the full album, which explained his thing on the road.
Yep.
And the Magic Bus was kind of like, here we are. We're on the Magic Bus. We're heading home. You know what I mean? And I liked that. I personally liked it. I don't think he did
anything was needed. And what else wasn't needed? The fucking drum solo at the end of fucking Magic Bus. I'm like,
I loved it.
Listen, I love a drum solo. I just didn't see what point it made.
So who was the original drummer for the Who?
Keith Moon.
That's why. It's a tribute to Keith Moon, dude.
Again, in this album, I don't think it's needed.
I'm going to tell you what. I loved it. I loved the drum solo. And Omar and I sat down and talked about it. We came to about the same conclusion. He said an 8. I said a 7.75 because if it was an 8, I'd probably go back to it at least once or twice more.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go back to this album.
Yeah. I'm going back to this album quite a bit. I've gone to it's a 10 for me. It's just fun.
Okay.
And this is definitely one of his best releases he's had in 10, 15 years for me.
I listen, I'm not going to say it's a bad album.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, it's a mediocre album. I don't know if I'm going to listen to it again.
Yeah.
And I'm not even trying to say mediocre. It is above mediocre because there is some really good tracks on here. There are some really, really good tracks on here. But for the most part, there's a lot more that I would skip over than I would listen to. No. There is just more that I would skip over than listen to, because if there's 13 or 14 tracks, I know 6 tracks I'll listen to. But and I'm at a state in my life that if I can't put the album in and just let it spin,
Yeah.
I don't really listen to it then. You know what I mean? So
All right.
there it is.
Another edition of Tony's Wrong.
Hey, dude, why don't you see how my ratings compare?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you see how my ratings compare? Sometimes we play favorites, and that's what you're doing right now, is playing favorites. You are.
No, honest to God, I really love this album. But I understand. I totally understand where you're coming from, and I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from. I just embrace I embrace it.
Yeah. No, and listen, it's not a bad album. It barely missed the cut. And it's only because there are more songs that I would skip than listen to. And that's and I have to take that into consideration. And no disrespect to Alice, don't get me wrong. And I really want to give a shout out to Kane Roberts if he ever gets a chance to see this. Dude, I hope you continue to make music, whether it's with Alice or not. And I want to know what you're a part of, because I want to stay tuned. I've thoroughly and obviously missed your ass. And I mean that. Like that, dude. You get, man, that man can fucking play.
He's solid.
Do you remember him in the videos?
No.
Big muscle bound looking dude.
I remember he was a big dude.
Yeah.
But
dude definitely gets down.
I couldn't pick him out of a lineup. But I just remember he was a big fucking dude.
Yeah.
I could pick out Nina Strauss though.
Oh, I could pick out Nina Strauss for sure.
Hooty who?
She's a beauty.
Yes, sir.
She is a beauty. She is
all right.
Very beautiful and very talented, very, very talented guitar
player. Phenomenal. Phenomenal guitar player.
Yeah.
Okay, so we ready to give the next episode's albums?
Go ahead.
Okay, so guys, just a programming note. Next week, we will not be here. We will be out and about, perusing this great country, searching for aliens and shit. We'll post some pictures of, alien heads and shit. You'll love it, I promise. So we're still going to give our album picks, and we'll see you not next week, but the week after. But we'll still stay pretty active on social media and make sure that you don't miss us too much.
Sounds good to me.
All right, Tony, what are you giving me?
Oh, you want to know what I'm giving you tonight?
Oh, I totally want to know what you're giving me.
Okay, give me
one
second.
You got what I need.
I sure do. Okay, give me a second. All right, I'm going to give you an album that I don't know how fairly new it is, but I can tell you it's new to me. And I just checked these guys out this week, and I thought, you know what? I'm always looking for Doom albums to get you and Kate into, because you guys are the hardest that I really have that are around me most times, that I'm really trying to dump what I think is good tunes into you guys' ears. And I'm really trying to nail down, bands I would love to go see Doom wise with you or Kate. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, you are going to get a wonderful album I heard this evening. Don't let that influence you, or not this evening, but in this past week. 1,000 Mods, MODS, 1000 MODS, Super Van Vacation.
Okay, hold on. Super Van Vacation, released in 2011.
Yeah.
Okay.
Groovy album.
Okay. The cover looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I am going to stick with the Halloween-ish theme since this is the month of October.
I'll
Bah!
get you next week.
Or the week after. And I'm going to give you a classic album. And I know you've heard it 100 times. You had to have. But it's such a great album. Let's talk about a fucking great album. AC/DC, Highway to Hell.
Well, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Being that we are going to be gone, do you want to double up on the reviews and review 2 albums next episode?
We'll have to cut some stuff.
Making the other stuff short.
Okay.
Quick on the beer reviews, quick on the news.
Okay.
Don't
Let's
be
do it then.
too extended with it. All right. All right. And in return, let me give you a Halloween album. Let me
Okay.
make sure it's available on the tube.
It don't matter if it is.
All right. You want to check and see if you got access to it?
Come on. So I've already got another one lined up for you.
Give me 1 second. Good spooky album. Okay. Overall feel of this album. I'm not going to tell you it's a straight, hey, this is Halloweeny. There's
Right,
going to be
right.
pumpkins all over it and shit.
Yeah.
Overall feel of this album, super creepy, super killer, super cool.
Okay.
I got to look up the name of it. I know the name of the band.
Show prep, ladies and gentlemen.
Sorry. We didn't expect to be given a second album, sir.
Well, you did it.
Okay. This is what you're getting. Yeah. This is amazing. The name of the band is Absent and Body.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm assuming the album is Plague God.
it is.
It's the only one they got.
Yes, I heard this in the last year, or maybe in the last year or two, and I just remember I go back to this album pretty often, going, man, what a killer concept of an album, and it's kind of creepy, and it has that whole concept out thing, and it's not like a concept, you know what I'm saying? You'll have to see it, dude. It's
Okay.
whatever what these guys are doing musically is like, what? Like,
Okay.
go ahead.
All right. Second album you're getting, Kiss's Psycho Circus.
Oh, really?
Have you even listened to it?
A long time ago.
Well, there you go. Bring
And
it
it
back.
obviously doesn't make the cut.
Okay, fine. Hold on.
Nope. You gave it to
No,
me.
hold
It's
on.
what it is.
I'll give you another one. I don't think you've ever heard it.
Nope. It's already done.
Okay.
I knew you was gonna hit me with a Kiss album at some point in time, and I do try to stay tuned, and I'm gonna tell you, I haven't been impressed in a long time, and I know they haven't released anything new in a long time.
Well, this is 25 years old.
Where is this in relativity to when Revenge was released?
Revenge was released in 92. This was released in 98.
Yeah, I think it was like the last attempt at doing an album with Peter and Ace.
We'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
I will give you all the insight you need.
What albums did I give you? I
I
give
don't
you two
know.
solid albums, and you give me.
Well, no, you gave me some guys that no one's ever heard of. Absent in Body and hold on. And 1,000 mods. Who?
All right.
Okay.
Next week, you get two from him and from me. You get two. All right, guys.
Pray for
It's
me,
been
guys.
it's been a blast. It's been fun. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you, Bruce.
Yeah.
The first album is not going to be a hard listen for you.
Okay.
It's not. I guarantee you. I think you're going to find it kind of groovy. I think you're going to dig it. I know I listened to it a couple times this week and I go, this may be something I can get Bruce turned onto and Kate turned onto. Kate's going to listen to it on the way down to Nashville. The second album, that may be a tough one for you, but it really is something else. Like it's you'll see. You'll see,
Okay.
man. You'll see. You'll see, dude. It's different. You know,
Cool.
it's not for me, it's not an everyday listen, but it's a cool album to go back to go, man, this was a really good album. You know, so other than that, anything else, brother?
No, man.
We won't
Everyone.
be here next week.
Yep.
So keep that in mind. We will not be here next week. We will be returning the following week. Same time, same clown channel.
Hopefully, I still have hearing left from my ears bleeding.
Good luck.
Or yeah, it's either going to be from the album that Tony gave me, or from Tony screaming at me, "What the fuck did you give me this fucking album for? What the fuck is this fucking trash?" So he should save that for the show because that would be entertaining at least. What the fuck is this?
Dude, I'll never forget when you called about the Great Cat album.
Fuck is this?
This motherfucker called me up like, "Are you serious?" I said, "Yeah, I'm dead serious." Good thing it wasn't too long to listen to, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, that was 10 minutes I'll never get back in my life.
No, I get it, man. I loved
Yeah.
it. You know, we that's what makes us who we are. You know,
Yeah.
just the differences of opinion.
Yep.
But with that being said, folks, it has been a blast. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, comment, subscribe. Keep in mind we are on YouTube visually, and we are on your Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, as well as
All the other places.
all the other places you want to look, man. If you've got an app that runs a podcast, you could probably find us.
Yes,
But once
guaranteed.
again, we're hooked on Sonics. That's Bruce. I'm Tone. Bruce, see ya.
See ya.